What's up, everyone, and welcome to episode 169 of the Chumpcast. This week, we cranked the RPMs all the way up to like 30 to talk about Matt Damon and Christian Bale in Ford vs. Ferrari. You can find us on social media platforms at the Chumpcast. You can also call or text us at 847-920-6107. Thanks to our friends at Family Video for sponsoring the show. If you collect DVDs or Blu-rays, you can get some awesome deals right now through the chumpcast.com/familyvideo. They have super low prices on new releases, and they're always updating their selection. Looking right now at copies of Avengers Endgame, Godzilla, Detective Pikachu, and way more, all for under $10. Plus, it helps the show. You can find our merch at thechumpcast.com. Check out patreon.com/thechumpcast for all sorts of bonus content and more goodies. Now, if you'll excuse me, it's Sunday, and you already know what that means.
Are you recording?
Yep.
I'm going to try not to cry at all during this episode.
So what happened with your computer that all the hard drives had to reset?
Mark, if I had any idea, we wouldn't have spent the last hour and a half basically having a brain aneurysm.
This is 2 weeks in a row without going live, Brick. How do you feel about that?
I feel like our leadership is failing us. Mark, what do you think?
Too.
Who is our leader?
I think we need Brick to step up with the live stream.
You know,
I did.
there aren't two brain cells to rub together between the both of you, but you both seem to think that you could produce this better than I do.
I don't know. Once I get a house and I get my computer set up, my rocket computer.
You're going to call me and have me
computer.
set up your computer, aren't you?
No, I'm going to set it up and I'll set up an amazing stream setup and we'll be good to go.
But you don't know what you're doing.
We'll be ready to record within 5
You
minutes.
have no idea what you're doing at all, ever.
5 minutes, no problem. Mark was earlier today, too. Proud.
When the computer was like rebooting, I walked over to the fucking hard drive or whatever the fuck it is, and
I walked over to the hard drive.
No, I walked over to the box part of it, and I was like, "Hey, let me just hold down the power button."
He's joking about it now. That was his actual solution. It's just hold down the power button until it resets.
Yeah,
While it's
And?
basically defragmenting both hard drives.
Oh, while it's doing updates? Let me just, fuck the whole thing up. Yeah, that was a botch.
Same, like he walked in, he starts talking about making fun of me, like, how jacked were you for this movie? Like, they were up to 70 RPMs and they went to 70,000 RPMs. I'm like, both of those are wrong on either end.
RPMs. I was trying to go 70 RPMs in my car on the way home. Definitely. And I got to like 30 and I was like, I'm fine here.
I'm not a machinery guy.
What kind of guy are you?
Just a guy.
Just a guy?
Just a guy trying to be a guy.
Just a guy. Got it.
I'll tell you what kind of guy I am. I'm the kind of guy who walks his dog in the morning on Wednesday and sees a giant turd in the freaking lawn and goes, what kind of public blasphemy is this? To pick up your goddamn dog's shit. Cut to me Thursday night, 11 p.m. My dog's outside. I'm stoned to the gills. And I'm stuck watching Myles Garrett and Mason Rudolph Twitter and lost track of where those turds went because she likes to walk when she poops. And then I didn't pick him up because I couldn't find him. So that's why I'm going to heck.
Yeah, you're going to heck. You and Myles Garrett. Actually, Myles Garrett's probably going to hell for that. Tried to kill a guy. That's not a good idea in the NFL.
Dude, Rudolph was being he was being a bitch, though.
Please tell me you're going to take that side. Please tell me you're going to say that it was warranted.
He didn't have to go to that extent.
Why are you yelling at me?
He didn't have to go to that extent, but he also instigated the whole issue.
Look at how heated you guys just got just talking about it. Imagine being in the middle of the game when someone's trying to rip your helmet off. I mean, obviously the swing. Come on.
If Myles Garrett would have ripped his helmet off after he was trying to rip his helmet off first, that would have been fine. But he crossed the line.
You think?
Yeah. But I'm also not going to be like, oh, Rudolph wasn't wrong for that at all. He's a little bitch.
On every single play in the NFL, something like that happens. And this is the first time since like the 1950s that someone has tried to kill somebody else with their helmet.
Did you see that video of the guy breaking the chair with the helmet? Just like he's like kind of smashed it on the chair and the chair just broke.
It's a weapon.
Yeah. Mason Rudolph should have been literally just concussed head, like a concave head.
If he was holding it the other way, where the actual
crown?
helmet was, not the inside of the helmet, if he would have doinked him, would have been done.
Just a little
Bonked
doink.
him. It would have been a bonk.
His head would have just... You ever hit a golf ball with a baseball bat, like a metal baseball bat?
I have not.
Yeah, I have.
It would have just
Thing soars.
done one of those, just popped and flew off.
There's a clear line of demarcation, like on Twitter. You can tell who's stupid and who isn't, because the stupid people were all like, well, you shouldn't have stepped to Myles Garrett. No, he could have killed him. Literally could have killed him.
Didn't someone punch Myles Garrett in the face as a fan, like the other day?
It was actually Mason Rudolph. That's what this was all about. Mason Rudolph was walking up to Myles Garrett's car in the middle of Cleveland and punched him in the face, and that's why Myles Garrett's so angry.
That would at least have a reason to escalate. This guy literally punched me in the face for no reason. I was driving. I may have cut him off, and then he just came over to my window. I rolled it down, and then he just punched me in the face. That would be justifiable. Not even, actually. He still could have killed the guy.
Whatever. Rudolph, he's got to watch himself. He can't just fucking do whatever he wants. Shit like that will happen, and it's going to happen more.
No, it isn't. It's not going to happen more. It's going to happen less. Because Myles Garrett might not ever play in the NFL again.
He probably won't.
I think he is at least suspended the entire year.
For the rest of this season.
Plus playoffs.
At least,
Rumor has.
yeah.
Funny they think they're going to make the playoffs, I guess.
How much money do you think he's coughing up for this? That's, half a season of game checks. How many millions of dollars is this costing him?
It's a heap. It's a heap.
He was a first draft pick, first overall. He's making serious money, and he lost his cool, and now it's going to cost him millions of dollars.
What's happening with Rudolph?
They had that game in the bag, too. Just easily. Their first, handy win, besides, the Ravens earlier in the season.
To my knowledge, Mason Rudolph has not yet been suspended.
It's fucking stupid. Though.
I'm telling you, dude, that stuff happens in every single play in the NFL. At the bottom of a pile, Brick, you can talk to this better than I can. Everybody's grabbing each other's dicks and trying to hurt each other and twisting ankles and shit.
Yeah, it's a dirty, dirty game down there. But that was literally after it was his fourth interception of the game, and then he had gotten sacked 3 plays in a row. And he just was like, I'm a young quarterback, I'm fed up, I'm fucking pissed. Literally lost his cool.
I'm not saying that what he did was okay, but the escalation there.
No, I'm just saying it makes sense why.
Okay.
I'm saying he should still get suspended for at least a game for doing that. This whole thing wouldn't have happened. I'm not defending Myles Garrett and saying he shouldn't have done that. That was fucked up that he did it. But the whole thing wouldn't have happened if he didn't try and pull that shit. That's all I'm saying. And if you're not gonna suspend him for a game or punish him at all, that's some bullshit.
There was one rumor that his finger was stuck in Myles Garrett's helmet. He was trying to pull it out.
He was kind of pushing his cleat into Myles Garrett's crotch.
That's true, too.
The people out there that are like, it's football, what do you expect? Yeah, well, I don't watch an MMA fight and expect some guy to come out with a knife and fucking stab the other guy either.
Good point.
I don't know why I got so worked up about that.
It's the computer.
I was talking to my mom last night, and she was like, do you guys even like each other? Because we just constantly shit on one another and yell at each other. And I was like, I don't know.
I'm not sure.
I don't.
It doesn't help when your whole computer poops out.
That was not my fault.
Do we like each other? ... Awkward silence for 10 seconds. Anyway, on to the news.
On to Disney Plus. Did you guys get your subscriptions yet?
No.
I almost did.
I'm gonna let it just
I downloaded the app.
settle down.
I'm about to go Star Wars heavy, though, because I just got that game, The Last Jedi. No, that's the movie. The Last Republic, The Lost Republic, something like that.
Known Star Wars guy, Brick.
Yeah, big game guy. I don't know about the series, but I'm going to go check out the series later today. I was being smart, kind of. This sentence isn't helping my cause, but I was preparing for the show rather than starting the game because I know I would have got lost in the game and then I would have blew off the show and then it would have been not a big deal at all either way, but still.
I don't understand how you play so many games. I buy 3 games a year, maybe.
I get on kicks. I just play a bunch of video games for 2 weeks and I'll stop for 2 months.
But it's the same game, right?
Now it's just varying between all the battle royale games. So it's PUBG, then it's Fortnite, and then it's Apex, and now it's back to Call of Duty. And
yeah, I can only play, honestly, certain games. Before this, it was a big dry spell. I mean, I was playing NHL pretty much, and then playing all the new games that came out, playing them for a week, and then realizing I'm getting exploded by 12-year-olds, so that I'm like, let's go back to NHL. That makes sense. And then single player games I can sporadically play. I just want to see it because my mega computer is amazing. And it's in like super duper 4K or whatever, you know? So, gotta see. This one's actually got good reviews. It's like getting the cinematic experience of Uncharted, like with Star Wars, the Star Wars saga and Star Wars lore, if you will.
I will. So neither of you seen The Mandalorian then?
No, I don't have Disney Plus. What I was saying is I'm going to let it just simmer down for a little bit. Everyone's going crazy about this whole streaming service, and one little thing that goes wrong, people are going to be bitching about it. So I'm going to let it just work itself out. I'll buy into it probably in a couple months. I'll watch
Everything
The Mandalorian.
Everything works.
The most consistent theme I've seen from people who have received Disney Plus is saying, I caved and got Disney Plus. They're just like, fuck it. That's like the most common theme.
There was never a scenario where Erica didn't immediately sign up for this, so.
Oh, she got the 3-year package, I'm sure?
When they launched, everything didn't work because Disney
For
Plus,
like an hour.
their Twitter. Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, it's only been out for what, a week?
Yeah.
Okay.
So for 1 hour out of that week, it wasn't working.
Sell
and now
me
it's
on
fine.
why I should buy Disney Plus.
I don't care if you do or not.
Besides, like, what does it have besides Gargoyles and The Mandalorian?
They have gargoyles? I'm sold.
A Goofy movie?
A Goofy movie? Dude, power line. Power moves. Peace. I've been sold in the first 2. Mark?
All of Star Wars, all of Marvel, all of Pixar. I don't need to sell you on this.
All 22 Marvel movies or
no,
whatever?
not
it is?
all of them yet. They will be.
Okay.
But all I really need to tell you is that I'm not going to give you my login. So
Yeah, I know you won't.
Hey, are they going to be doing this too? Like making those superhero movies like Netflix made, like Daredevil and all those things? They're like actually going to make movies based off of those like series? Are they going to be like 10 episodic series and then going to movies? Or how are they doing that? Do you know?
they are going to introduce some characters in TV shows that are then going to appear in movies.
Like headlining characters, though, right?
It depends on what your definition of a headlining character is, but yes.
Okay, cool. All right.
What are they doing with this Loki show? Is it Hiddleston?
Anyone that exists already, any character that exists already, is being played by the same actor that played that character in the movies, which is a first to my knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
That was kind of interesting, though. The Simpsons is on there, too.
And they took off the Michael Jackson.
That is the one episode that they pulled out of there. So they left in the racist stuff from Dumbo, but they pulled the Michael Jackson episode.
With one of the greatest original songs in Simpsons. Lisa, it's your birthday. Happy birthday. I actually watched that on YouTube when I saw the headline. They pulled it. I'm like, I need to go watch this right now.
Michael Jackson's not even actually in the episode. He's a big fat white guy.
Yeah, he technically he doesn't sing that part, but he voices for the most part through the show though.
Yeah, it's very weird.
Yeah, it's stupid.
There's a lot of dumb stuff that's going on with Disney Plus. Like they changed the aspect ratio, which cuts out some of the visual gags in The Simpsons, and Disney is very weird.
They should make a different streaming service called like Disney Minus, where it's like for
adults,
explicit viewers, and
where they show the dicks in the clouds.
Are you looking for Disney porn?
Basically,
okay.
Yeah. Wasn't there a guy that was like trying to fucking Olaf in a Walmart the other?
That was one of my worst men alive.
Yeah,
like a few weeks ago.
Yeah, that was like 2 episodes ago.
News to us.
Boop.
Let's talk about some trailers and how public outrage is actually a good thing sometimes when we end up with a fixed version of Sonic the Hedgehog.
I don't know if I call it fixed.
You wouldn't?
It's not realistic now, and I thought they were going for more of a realistic feel to Sonic, so they got to go back to the drawing board.
Some people just cannot. It's unbelievable. I just can't even.
No, Mark is actually just mad that Sonic was reading the Flash comics instead of Batman.
Full butthurt.
Well, it makes sense why he's reading the Flash comics.
Wait, I don't get it.
Yeah,
Can you explain it to
why?
me?
Because his favorite color is red, and the Flash is red.
I thought his favorite color would be blue.
He does have red shoes. He can choose his shoe color. He can't choose his fur color.
You think that red Sonic is going to make an appearance? What's his name?
Knuckles?
Knuckles?
Oh, yeah, Knuckles. Yeah. I called him Knuckles. Captain Knuckles. Hilarious.
Knuckles. He's the Canadian Knuckles.
What if Knuckles showed up and he was just the original design? They left him the same.
No, it's going to be like the Spider-Man meme where they point at each other, but they don't look anything alike.
I think the funniest thing I saw about the movie quality Sonic was in Super Smash Bros. There's a very custom lobby where you can take the Mii characters and make all these different characters. Like they have a Sonic and they have a Knuckles and they have Tails. And then they have one called Movie Sonic, and it's just a really shitty version of Sonic, and it looks hilarious. We'll have to post it on Instagram.
This whole redo was worth it for the memes alone.
I was kind of surprised when I saw the trailer and they completely revamped the whole design of this character. It just looks exactly like how the video games were.
It looks like how it should.
Which is, it's polar opposite of what they originally had, which was they were trying to make like a realistic type Sonic with like the real hair and fur, and it just looked gross.
It's nightmare fuel.
But now this is just completely CGI'd. It's just looks like it was just pulled right from the video game, which is fine. But
hey, what do you guys think of like the wacky Dr. Robotnik that Jim Carrey's playing in the trailer?
Jim Carrey needs to be full wacky. I'm fine with it.
I'm excited to see another full wacky character from Jim Carrey. I mean, what's the last one he did? Was Bruce Almighty like a wacky character?
I would have to look through his filmography, but yeah, something like that. It's been a long time. He's all serious now and stuff.
He did have the show on Showtime where he was like the Mr. Rogers character, and that was very dark. I like that show, though.
Never seen it.
Really? You would actually really enjoy it. It's dark.
So the movie itself, though, I'm happy that it got revamped because it's John Ralphio.
Exactly.
Playing the voice of Sonic. He is Brick when Brick doesn't take his pills. He's like freaking out and blah, 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 I can't focus.
When I read that in the notes, I was like, and then I saw the trailer, I was like, damn, that is actually spot on.
Are there rings in the movie where he can like level up or whatever the hell it is?
I saw in the last little bit of the trailer that actually got me pretty hyped was he was running through the giant ring, which would get him into the super zone or whatever that gets Gold Sonic. And so Gold Sonic is just going to evolve easily. Gotta see a Gold Sonic.
This is coming out against The Kingsman and Fantasy Island, which we also got a trailer for. This is Valentine's Day, so that's going to be a weird weekend. I don't know.
Before we go on, prediction, who gets the next spinoff, Knuckles or Tails, and who's the actor?
Tails. Tails was in the first Sonic game, so Tails came first, right?
Yes.
Is Tails a boy or a girl?
Girl, I'm pretty sure.
We don't know. We don't need to know either.
I think we do know. I think you don't know.
Okay.
Nobody knows.
Yeah.
Because Britt doesn't know the answer.
Hold on.
Honestly, though, if it is a girl, Jenny Slate. She was Mona Lisa Saperstein.
That's a perfect. Okay, good answer. I would love to see a Jenny Slate Tails movie.
They feed so well off of each other. I'm 100% here for that.
Then who would play Knuckles then? It'd be like a Big and Brawn.
Mike Ehrmantraut from Breaking Bad.
Tails is a boy, but Tails does look really feminine.
What about that? Is it just feminine because you want to have sex
no,
with it? No,
because look at the eyelashes and the blue eyes that you'll get lost in.
You want to have sex with Tails, don't you?
Get out of here.
You're weirding me out.
Tails is the son of Rosemary and Amadeus Prower. Sonic was present at the time of Tails' birth, and the two immediately bonded.
Moving on.
I had a good Knuckles guy. Jack Black. I would love to see Jack Black play Knuckles. Then we can get a little still wacky, kind of, but he's a little bigger.
Isn't Knuckles always like the hard ass, though? He's like the serious one.
Yeah, but Jack Black can be like a serious leadership type role. Like, think of him in School of Rock. He was a leader there, but he was a ridiculous leader.
I'm going to go with Danny DeVito.
I'm going to say Dave Bautista, but Dave Bautista actually has to play him.
He has to be in a Knuckles suit?
Yeah, he's got to be.
Movie
and
quality.
It's not
Dave
a suit.
Bautista.
They literally take the red fur and have to like paste it on him.
Anyways, Fantasy Island. This is a Blumhouse movie. This is a remake of an old school thing. Starring evil Michael Pena, who you would recognize from Ant-Man. He was in The Martian.
He was in that cop movie.
He's the guy that everybody likes.
End of Watch. Boom.
So these people go to an island and it's a fire fest thing, except there's no festival and they're supposed to get their dreams, but
your wildest dreams and Ja Rule are here to give you an epic time. Also, everyone around you is a psychopath and wants to kill everyone in their revenge stories.
That's my actual Fantasy Island thing is I would be, the girl is torturing her high school bully or whatever, mine would be torturing Ja Rule.
What would be scarier? Getting stuck on actual Fire Fest Island and having to wait in that fucking airport with no water, or just having what it looked like a tribe was coming to kill this girl in one point of the trailer, like Green Inferno type shit?
Well, in one case, you're going to die. And in the other one, you're just in an airport without any water.
But you still might die in that airport.
You're not going to die.
You don't know. You might die. Dehydration.
Mark's like, I'm taking on the savages. I cannot go out without any pumpkin lattes, or I'm not having this cheese out of a styrofoam plate. What is this?
Mark's personal hell is going somewhere and seeing an advertisement where some of the text is slightly off center.
Don't even talk. Don't even say that right now. I'm freaking out.
For the audience, Brick, how anal is Mark about literally everything?
We asked when he was coming to the show, and he didn't answer for 20 minutes. And then we were talking about switching to our new streaming location, the Chumpcast on Twitch. And once I brought up we couldn't have the original name we wanted, immediately Mark said, do this name, I'll be there in 20 minutes. Peace. Which was, 30 minutes ahead of schedule?
Yeah. It literally got him to move and get into his car, and he pulled the Ford versus Ferrari, like screaming through the streets to get here.
7,000 RPMs.
It's not my fault, but it also doesn't help that the two people that I do this with, I mean, Brick, I asked him to put together a post like 2 years ago, and it looked like something 8 different fourth graders with a severe case of ADHD would have assembled.
You're the only person who cares about any of this.
I thought it looked fantastic.
I know. I like things to look right and not look like fucking you just threw shit onto a fucking screen.
Subjective, you Fruit Loop dingus. Not everything has to be exactly lined up, middle to end. Fuck you, Mark, pussy.
I feel like my mom had a legitimate question when she asked me if we liked each other or not. Maybe I don't like you guys. I don't know. I can't tell.
That's the unknown.
That's what keeps us going, the unknown.
Do these guys really like each other?
I know it leads me to drink because I'm drinking a Natterday. Cheers.
I can't believe you're still drinking those. I actually brought that up to my boss because we were talking about Natterdays. I'm like, this guy I know lives in Colorado. It's probably full winter season over there, and he's still drinking Natterdays.
It's not only that. Colorado, Denver especially, or whatever area you're in, is a hub for actual good beer and breweries.
The simple answer to that is the only reason I drink is you two, I think. That's been these have been in the fridge since the Bears game week 2, and I just haven't had beers until I have to record with you guys.
I was going to say, they don't sell those anymore, do they? They probably stopped.
I think
for
it's
the
a
winter.
summer thing.
Yeah.
It's 100% a summer thing.
Brick's got 3 more cases behind his bed, just waiting to be fridged.
Last one is right here. I have 2.
Really? Oh, man.
Mark, how are you feeling about that, the Bears team?
They're pretty bad.
Yeah, they're bad.
They're bad, man. It's okay. At least I didn't make any bets or anything.
Definitely didn't say they were going to the Super Bowl. Brick, how you feeling about spending money on that Mitchell Trubisky jersey?
I didn't. It was given to me by Ryan Stevens. Shout out.
Shout out to him for wasting money on a Mitchell Trubisky jersey.
Wait, you had a friend buy it for you?
I went to the Bears game and borrowed a jersey because I didn't have
you borrowed
jersey.
it. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's move on. Mark, this is kind of your thing. I'm calling you our Scoob guy.
Okay.
It shows Shaggy and Scooby meeting, and Shaggy immediately tries to kill this dog by giving him human food. Accurate?
That's why I feel bad for Remy, because Remy has never tasted human food in his precious life before.
Tastes stuff that I drop on the floor. Why would I give him human food? That's bad for him.
It's not bad for him.
It's not bad for him.
Might make him leak a little bit, but that's about it.
This is why you always have to wipe Moose's butthole. Because you give it human food,
no,
and he just shits himself constantly.
You got to find what he likes. He would probably be good with like cheese, cheddar cheese, Swiss cheese.
Yeah, and then he's begging all the time.
He's a good boy. Look at him.
Yeah,
he's just lazy. He's not.
Ryan, stand true. Obviously, you're going to because Mark's not an influence at all to your decisions. But Khaleesi's like the middle of that. She didn't have any human food for like the first 3 years, and then my parents spoiled her for like a while. So now she's like in between there. So sometimes I have to wipe her butthole. Not every day like Mark does, and I guess never like Smithers.
So you're in between. You know, you're in the wiping of the butthole scale right now. You're
on
just
occasion.
Right in the center.
Moose has runny dumps because you keep giving him chocolate.
We'll do like a thermometer scale where it's like Smithers is way in the green, like the greenest of green. I'm pretty.
What thermometer have you ever seen green?
The
on?
Dark red. All right, what do you want to call this type of scale? No, they can't be an RGB scale or RBG. What is it?
Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just move on.
Poop Beta Ginsburg.
What do you think about this movie, Mark?
Very good. Very good song. Avicii, and that was about it that sold me on this trailer. I don't know, man.
What about Daphne hating her dad to relate to the millennials?
You're Daphne's dad, like, for real.
fuck?
Oh, it smells like old whiskey and cigars. Oh, what are you, my dad?
Isn't it? Yeah, that's kind of an adult joke.
I actually found it.
It's all right,
It's actually finally like a refreshing take on Scooby-Doo, I guess. This
I'm with you.
time Scooby and Shaggy are the ones that get captured. And it's just a good origin. It's just an origin story that I actually found to be. I was not looking forward to it, but now I'm kind of looking forward to it.
They can't cross a certain adult line, though. Like, they can't talk about Shaggy getting probed.
Why can't they?
No.
Because it's still a kid's show. Let's stick with the cartoon adaptations. Sponge on the Run, featuring Keanu the Tumbleweed God.
Hell yeah.
Unexpected.
Very unexpected. I know that you're a SpongeBob guy. Both of you are. I knew you were going to do that, too. What's the take on this? I know that it's not the traditional animated or even real life as the last couple of them have been. It's kind of Pixar-y.
The real life shit is kind of fucked up. That's the shit nightmares are made of.
That's such a Ren and Stimpy thing. That's where that originally came from. When they cut to a shot of something and it's in real life detail and it's really gross.
Yeah. They do the same thing in the Marvelous Misadventures of Flapjack. The gross, like...
People are excited about this, though. Could be interesting. Eric is going to make me go see it, so it doesn't matter.
Love SpongeBob. He's meme god, SpongeBob, for real. The end joke, like Patrick, is always hilarious. Did you guys hear they're making a Squidward spinoff or something like that for, like, actually a cartoon?
I did not. I was never a big SpongeBob guy. Just, it missed me. Not that I don't like it. I just, I'm old.
SpongeBob's been around for like 20 years, right?
I'm 33, so
I guess you were too old.
Damn, 20 years. Cow.
It's getting up there for sure. Last thing I want to talk about, and Mark, I will leave this to you. We got more looks at this Harley Quinn TV show with JB Smoove, who is a talking piranha plant, I guess, and dirty words and extreme violence in place of actual comedy. What do you think?
I actually agree with you. They were trying too hard, definitely, or are trying too hard. I'll kind of ride it out and just see what happens with the actual show. I won't judge too much based off the trailers, but the trailer was just cringy. It was they were trying too hard. They were trying to be funny by just overly swearing and throwing in too much unnecessary violence in the cartoon, and it was a little too much and kind of killed.
I'm gonna give it a shot.
Yeah. Obviously, because we have like a month left before we cancel this bitch, this DC Universe subscription.
Eventually, it'll just all end up on HBO Max. Except for some reason, they renewed Titans.
Titans is not going to HBO Max.
So that's going to be their only property left then.
It's their only thing to keep on trying to...
Because Doom Patrol's not going back.
Dangling in front of our faces.
Are they doing Young Justice still?
They'll probably do more Young Justice, which I honestly didn't really care for season 3 that just came out. But yeah, they really don't have much going on for that subscription service. They're going to dangle Titans in front of our faces, which it hasn't been that great. It's not enough to get me to... Yeah, they introduced Deathstroke, which is cool. But at the same time, they do a lot of this shit with their villains in their show where they'll introduce them for like 2 episodes and then you don't hear about them for 6 episodes. And you're like, okay.
Sounds cool.
Yeah, I'm not too impressed.
Well, let's stick with the DC trope at least. Seeing Henry Cavill in a bathtub was enough for Netflix to greenlight another season of The Witcher, even though it hasn't dropped yet.
Is this because they're just so confident? They're like, oh my God, season 1 is just so good. We're going to just greenlight season 2 right now.
They wouldn't do it if it was shitty.
What was the last show that did that?
The Boys.
Before it released? Exactly. I'm so sold on that.
By greenlight, does it just mean, okay, this is happening or this is already in the works? Like they're already shooting it right now?
They're not shooting it yet.
Okay.
They take a little time off in between. Obviously, Henry Cavill is a big name movie star and he's going to be doing movies and stuff in between. But greenlight is basically allocating funds, getting shit in order. Production starting is a whole different animal.
Is this going to be one of those Netflix shows that weren't there talks about each episode coming out on a specific day, like them gradually rolling it out week by week?
I don't think they're doing that.
Thought maybe this could be the show that they introduced that with.
Boy, I really struggle with that because I watched the first episode of The Mandalorian and I was immediately like, where's the rest of this fucking season? I want to see it right now.
Mm-hmm.
But also it didn't completely kill my productivity for a full day.
Yeah.
So I'm on the fence. If only someone would tell me that I could watch it at like 2 times speed.
Mm-hmm. They don't do. I just thought this was kind of interesting. They don't do an intro for Disney Plus on any of the shows or anything, right? They just get right into it. Is that true?
Mandalorian has kind of an intro,
but there's no like Netflix pan over. You know how Netflix Netflix.
Well, Mandalorian has like the Star Wars logo that I think that everybody knows. If you're going to Disney Plus to see it, you don't need that branding.
Yeah,
and it doesn't have the signature bum bum.
Yes, exactly.
So
that is what.
If that's what you're asking, Brick, this is kind of aimed at you. Mark Wahlberg is going to play Sully in the Uncharted movie alongside Tom Holland as Nathan Drake, assuming that this eventually actually does get made, because I feel like we've been talking about it for years.
I'm sold on it, honestly. Marky Mark. Sully in the game is like kind of a smart-ass old guy.
But yeah, he's like 70.
When does this take place? Because this is a young Tom Hardy. Or I'm sorry, this is a young Tom Holland. This is a young Drake from the movie. So this could be 50-year-old Sully. All the games are going to be after this. So since it's going to be Tom Holland.
Good job.
I'm sold on this.
Sorry,
I was getting the names all crossed. Classic.
So this is supposed to occur before the video games. This is kind of like a lead-in.
More like a prequel,
okay.
Yeah.
I was unaware of that, so.
Tom Holland is the young version of Drake, and they're taking it from his perspective as like from an orphan to this mass adventurer, and there's so much they can do with it. The Uncharted series is a great story.
I only played the most recent one, and I'm a fan, so I'm in.
Ooh, and that was honestly probably one of it was really good, but it was not as good as the first 3 leading up, naturally.
From a cinematic standpoint, though, it's absolutely gorgeous.
Oh, absolutely, yes. Almost second to none. That and Last of Us is just like cinematic as can be.
Still have not played
I guess the new game coming out with Daryl is supposed to be just as
Death Stranding.
Daryl from The Walking Dead. Sorry,
everybody knows who you're talking about, because if you would have said Norman Reedus, half the people would have been like, "Who the fuck is that?"
Didn't Death Stranding already come out?
Yes, this week.
I heard it wasn't that good.
From whom?
I think I saw
from Game Informer.
No, IGN Game Informer is legitimate, dude. So back off. Brick, do you have any takes?
Well, we didn't stop talking while you were gone. We talked about all of this stuff.
You just brought up Death Stranding, and I'm trying to ask Brick about it.
I don't have enough information on Death Stranding. I don't have a PlayStation, so I haven't really looked into it that much. It looks good, but I just don't. It just seems like there's a lot of walking. I don't know. It just didn't appeal to me, to be honest.
I've just seen videos, and it's like, exactly, it's him walking and delivering packages. It sounds like UPS the game.
What's the whole backstory with that baby attached to him?
I don't fucking know.
There's a baby? It just kind of seems like, yeah, you're just a mailman in a shitty
you're a mailman and you deliver babies.
Society on Mars, maybe? I don't know.
I guess I'm the only one that reads Game Informer and knows things about gaming.
Fill us in then, Mr. Game Informer himself.
No, I'll let it be a surprise when you play a game.
I will never play it. Black Adam is apparently 2 years away, according to The Rock's Instagram. December 22nd of 2021. I guess we're excited.
Yeah, I don't like when they do this at all. They did it for Spider-Verse 2. It is what it is, but they did a good announcement photo for it. Jim Lee teamed up with Boss Logic, and they came out with some awesome concept art.
My personal friend, Boss Logic.
Yeah, your friend, I guess.
Yeah. We're bros.
My friend Jim Lee. You've never met Jim Lee? I have.
I actually have. I met him at C2E2.
He's my best friend.
Okay. The Rock did call him a superhero.
And then he tried justifying it. He's like, well,
yeah.
People are like calling him out. He's like, well, the reason he's a superhero to me is because I grew up.
Because I'm going to make millions of dollars playing this character. That makes him my superhero.
And fuck Tyrese, by the way.
Agreed. But this is something that's been in production for even longer than Uncharted. The Rock was cast as Black Adam like a decade ago.
I thought this was initially going to come out Is this coming out before Shazam 2 still? I think it might be.
Yeah.
It is. People were saying it wasn't, that he was going to be introduced in Shazam 2 first, and then Black Adam was going to come out.
They alluded to him in Shazam. It just...
Nobody knows what the fuck is going on.
Not really. Brick, you have no idea what's going on. Don't feel bad. Okay, how do we feel about this? Netflix is bringing Eddie Murphy's career back to life. So I have not yet watched Dolomite Is My Name. I've heard it's excellent. So it's on my list. I'm going to check it out. It's been 30 years since we got a Beverly Hills Cop movie, and they just announced they're going to do Beverly Hills Cop 4.
I don't remember 3. Was 3 even good?
They all kind of run together.
Remember 1 and 2.
The whole
Don't
thing
know what happened in
with
3.
me was like he drove a Ferrari. You're not getting a Ferrari on a cop's salary.
But he was a Beverly Hills Cop.
It was him and Judge Reinhold. They were good movies. They're funny. That's where I remember his creepy laugh, Eddie Murphy's really weird laugh, distinctly from those movies. But is there any level of excitement for this?
I'm not too into it. I was never really fond of the movies.
For me, I'm flatlining here. I don't really care about Beverly Hills Cops.
Fair enough. Asked and answered.
I don't really care about Beverly Hills Cops.
Fair.
Do they even have cops? Do they need cops there?
Sure.
Is that the whole? That I guess that's the whole joke. That's why this movie's funny is because
no, because he's not a cop in Beverly. He's a cop in New York who follows a case to Beverly Hills, or maybe he's in LA. It doesn't matter.
And he meets Chris
Look,
Farley.
I know why you guys. I know why you guys are actually here, and that is for more ridiculous Nicolas Cage news.
Of course. Hey, wait! Before you go there, Beverly Hills Cop or Rush Hour? What do you like better?
Rush Hour, dude.
Yeah, the action's way better in Rush Hour.
Rush Hour by a million. All right, that was a dumb question.
And I always wanted to go to Madison Square Garden to see the Knicks play.
Thank you for that racist impersonation.
That wasn't. That was just me saying I've always wanted to go to Madison Square Garden to see the Knicks play.
Okay. Anyways, Nicolas Cage news. There was a bidding war for this. Lionsgate is beating out HBO Max and Paramount. And they're making this movie called The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, in which Nicolas Cage will play Nicolas Cage.
Yo, did we just come up with that like last week or 2 weeks ago when we were doing those ridiculous movie things?
Just about Nicolas Cage and how he's going to have a ridiculous trailer every week from now until forever?
No, movie about him playing himself and then him losing his shit. Like we did. I swear to God, we had a...
No, I believe it was on one of E-Man's posts. It was something about Nick Cage fighting somebody and who you'd want to see. And I said I'd like to see 10 clones of Nick Cage fight each other.
Fair.
That might have been what you saw. I don't know, though.
All right.
But I did mention that.
Let me read the synopsis for this. Nick Cage is desperate to get a role in a new Tarantino movie, so it's going to be grounded in reality, kind of. While also dealing with a strained relationship with his teenage daughter, he also occasionally talks to an egotistical 1990s version of himself, who will obviously also be played by Nick Cage, who rides him for making too many crappy movies and not being a star anymore. The Cage character is under a mountain of debt. This is really realistic. Didn't the IRS come after him and didn't he have to sell like a dinosaur skull?
I don't know. He was collecting a bunch of random shit.
Anyways, he finds himself forced to make an appearance at the birthday of a Mexican billionaire who happens to be a big fan of Nick Cage and secretly hopes to show him a script that he's been working on. And while he bonds with this guy, Cage is informed by the CIA that the billionaire is actually a drug cartel kingpin who has kidnapped the daughter of a Mexican presidential nominee. This just gets better with every sentence.
You stole my daughter!
The situation spirals even more dramatically when the Mexican brings over Cage's daughter and his ex-wife for a reconciliation. And when their lives are on the line, Cage takes on the role of a lifetime.
What are the odds that Nicolas Cage does a bunch of cocaine while he's at that billionaire Mexican cartel guy's house?
That's going to be the 90s version of him, though.
Okay.
It's like, it's a figment of his imagination, but he's also doing blow in the background.
Is he going to do it like he did in Mandy off of a big shard of glass?
God, I hope so. After just murdering a zombie for no reason.
Yeah, this movie will be like directly equivalent to the trailer's amount of blood on Nicolas Cage's face or body and the amount of cocaine that they show in the trailer. And then that's going to show you how good the movie is. The more there is, this movie is going to be amazing. If there's none, I don't know how I feel about Nicolas Cage.
This can't be a PG-13 movie.
It's NC-17.
Gotta be.
It's NC-17.
Gotta be.
When's the last NC-17 movie?
Wasn't there a cut of like Sausage Party that was...
Maybe.
Oh, yeah, there was. I'm pretty sure. I didn't see it. But I think every movie Nicolas Cage should make from now on should only be NC-17. And I think they would make a lot more money.
I'd be okay with that.
They shouldn't even show a clean cut. It should be like a cult classic kind of, that's a brilliant idea. Anyway, go ahead.
You're just giving ideas to Hollywood. I mean, they obviously picked up on your idea.
Yeah, that checks out.
Does Nick Cage direct or produce any of his movies?
I don't know the answer to that.
He probably does.
Best. We the best! Worst.
The worst. She's the worst person in the world. Huge, skank, terrible, but thank you.
I have a best country alive.
Ooh.
What country?
Bhutan.
Where is that?
It's in Asia,
Okay.
on the edge of the Himalayas. And guess who the number one movie podcast in Bhutan was this week? You boys.
Wait, you think somebody was hiking up the Himalayas and just was listening to the Chumpcast?
Had to be. Well, it was a large group of people that were simultaneously downloading our podcast for some reason.
What if it was just somebody dropped their phone and a bunch of mountain goats just happened to like stample, or the stample's not a word.
Stample is definitely not the word.
Stomp on the
Stample.
phone. And they just happened to hit the podcast app, search the Chumpcast, and subscribe and like everything.
I think that what this says is that Bhutan is a smarter country than the United States because we are not number one in movies in the United States.
And we don't say things like stample.
That's your vocabulary word for the week.
I feel like you wanted to say like stampede/stomp, but you just
I was gonna say
stample.
stampede. I'm like, that doesn't make sense. They don't stampede in the mountains. And
It's
then
a
I got
mixture
caught up.
of stampeding and stampling.
Okay, we'll go with it. Stample.
There you go.
Chumpcapulary strikes again. We are mental.
Brick, who's your best man alive?
I gotta give it to the school of Evansville. The Purple Aces beat Kentucky, the number one ranked team, just in college basketball, which was hilarious. But the funny part of it is, when my roommate Fife told me about it, he was looking up those bad bets. Some guy put $900 on Kentucky to win just like the line and lost. His winning, what he was going to win was $9. The guy put $900 up to win $9 and lost. What kind of idiot/insane person takes that bet?
He was so confident that he probably just needed $10 and was like, this is an easy win.
Well, he's obviously somebody who just has money to throw away.
Actually, maybe he doesn't. Maybe he was just so
That was
certain.
his rent payment?
He was just so certain. He's like, maybe he needed that $10.
It was his rent payment, and he needed that $10 to be able to eat that night, and now he's double fucked.
His rent was $909, and he's like, this is the best way to do it. And he lost it all.
And it's gone. All right, see ya. Can you please get that as a drop?
I can. Mark, who is your best man alive?
Christmas is coming up. I got to give it to Rod Stewart, my guy. This guy's my dad. After 26 years, he finally finished building his dream model railway, like a little train set. But this is literally a whole city, and it's touching because this is the view he had out of his bedroom window when he was growing up in, I don't know what city it was, but he literally built it building by building from what he remembers growing up. It wasn't like he was looking at a photo of what the city looked like. He was just going off his imagination and what he remembers. And this fucking thing is huge. Look at that. It looks like a shot of an actual city.
As big as he is. Brick, I know you and you can't hear this since you're listening. If you've seen the Lego movie, it's like
holy shit.
The city that they build in the basement. That's huge.
It's 124-foot spread depicting an entire
Depicature.
depicting
That's another
an entire
word for you,
US
Brick.
city.
It's a depicature. It's like a depiction and a picture combined.
It's inspired by the view from a childhood home. Anyways, Rod Stewart, he's coming out with a new Christmas CD like he does every year. You better go pick that up. One of my favorite things to do is listen to Rod Stewart and Michael Bublé during the Christmas season.
Smithers, let me ask you this. How anal would Mark be if Mark built one of those little towns? About where every single little figurine would be placed and where everything would be located as a city manager.
No one would ever be able to go see it because no one would be allowed within 100 feet of it. Anyone else's breath touching it could ruin it, and that's just not allowed.
It's like a safe room. He built a safe room in his house, in his new house. Nice. And then he puts cameras in there so you can see from afar.
He builds it in an actual bomb shelter, and a tornado is coming straight for his house, and Kelly's like Picture, fast forward to a year from now. Kelly's holding the baby. Mark, let me in. No, you'll ruin it.
Yeah, knocking on the door.
Oh,
The sacrifices I'm willing to make. This town is perfect.
Yeah, that's Mark. I also have a best puppy alive. Did you guys see the picture going around of this puppy with a tail growing out of its forehead?
Oh my God, no.
It's adorable.
No.
It won't hurt him. They named him Narwhal.
Should have named him Puppicorn.
That's a dumb name.
You get it, though?
Unipup.
No,
Is way better.
Puppicorn.
Unipup is way better.
Unipup is better, ostensibly. Anyways, the dog's going to be fine. Like, he's got the tail growing out. It's not, like, attached to his brain or anything, so he's okay. Plus, he's adorable because he's a little puppy.
I would leave it. You'll never lose your keys. You just take your key ring and throw it up there, and you always got your keys on hand.
They're going to let him be a father. Can you fucking believe this, Brick?
What?
Not if we turn this into the proper authorities.
What's wrong with utilizing the tail horn on his head?
Does it wag like a normal tail?
Have that information.
Would wag?
I need more information from you.
I'm going to do my best to not be the known car guy on this.
Okay.
But I will tell you, Mark, that 70 RPM and 70,000 RPM are both wrong and would be very bad.
70 RPM is accurate. You're just going really slow.
No, your car wouldn't run at 70 RPM. Anyways, our movie this week...
No, it would go really slow.
No, it wouldn't.
All right, whatever. Forget you.
Our movie this week is Ford versus Ferrari. 92% on Rotten Tomatoes, 99% from fans, from 1,100 reviews. This is a real good movie.
It's good. I really like the cinematography, how they shot this guy.
So the director is James Mangold, who most famously did Logan. I mean, obviously, the cinematography and the direction there was beautiful. He's done The Wolverine, Walk the Line, 3:10 to Yuma. So he's known for these big kind of action-y movies.
I love 3:10 to Yuma. And that Christian Bale was in that movie too, right?
I never saw it.
Really?
Mark, we were having this argument earlier this week. You tried to tell me that Christian Bale has never done a bad movie. More specifically, you asked me what the last bad movie Christian Bale had been in.
All right. So I understand, there's a fine line between bad movie and bad acting. However, you have never walked out of a movie and been like, that movie sucked.
Okay,
Christian Bale sucked in it.
First of all, stop yelling.
Terminator Salvation, I walked out of the goddamn theater.
Yes, he was terrible in that movie.
I could think of 2 recent movies by Matt Damon that were just bad, and he was bad in. Suburbicon and...
He wasn't bad in it. It was just a bad movie.
He wasn't bad in it, yeah.
I thought Suburbicon was bad on his end.
It was a shitty movie, don't get me wrong, and we were really excited for it, but sure. My point is, you are so blinded by your love for Batman and Christian Bale as Batman that he can do no wrong in your eyes.
Okay, when was the last bad movie besides Terminator Salvation? That was 10 years ago.
Besides that terrible movie that he did? What was his last bad movie?
Yeah.
Exodus, Gods and Monsters was terrible.
When was that?
Like 4 years ago?
2014.
5 years ago.
Whatever, man. He's batting like 350.
He doesn't play many roles, honestly. I was looking up the filmography of all like the lead characters for this movie, and for acting, Christian Bale has nothing coming up. It looks like on IMDb at least.
He'll just drop some indie flick.
You think?
Probably that he does. He's at the point where he can just do whatever he wants.
But I did find 2 interesting ones about Matt Damon that I wanted to bring up. One of them is called The Last Duel, which is about King Charles VI declares that Knight Jean de Carogues settles his dispute with his squire by challenging him to a duel, directed by Ridley Scott, which could be pretty good. Adam Driver's in it. That sounds interesting, but the one before that he's coming out with that's actually filming right now is Stillwater. A father travels from Oklahoma to France to help his daughter who has been arrested for murder, and I'm pretty sure this is just Jason Bourne, right?
That is nothing like Jason Bourne.
Yeah, what's the Jason Bourne tech company that they take over?
Treadstone?
Treadstone, Stillwater.
Blackbriar?
Treadwater. Okay, never mind.
Jesus Christ, that's Jason Bourne.
I'm down for another Matt Damon, Jason Bourne style action film with
Right.
Matt Damon.
How do we get here?
I just want to point out that Mark said Christian Bale's batting .350, which means that about 6 out of
350
his...
is a great batting average for a year. If you bat 400, that's like unachievable. 350 is a very good batting average.
It also means that 7 out of 10 times you're making an out.
Dude, you're done.
I'm done.
You're done.
That's a terrible analogy.
Ted Williams hit 400, so it's it's attainable. Not easily attainable, but it's attainable.
Anyways, Ford versus Ferrari, starring Matt Damon as Carroll Shelby. I did not really get a chance to look into how much of this is true to life, because it is based on a true story. Lee Iacocca is a real person, played by John Bernthal, who I thought was really good in this. He needs to get more work.
He needs less roles where he's like, oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'd still watch another season of The Punisher, though.
I would too.
You know what? He could be a Batman character with that kind of low voice.
I didn't finish The Punisher.
I liked him.
Season 2 of The Punisher was good.
It was.
I got through the second episode of Punisher season 2, and it was in that bar scene, and he was literally going, oh, just killing everyone. I was just thinking of the Batman metal, like, animated song.
I have no problem with it, but sure. So we've also got Christian Bale as Ken Miles, and he stole the show for me.
He's from England, right?
I believe so, yes.
Is that really how he talks, like with that thick of an English accent?
No.
British accent, whatever you want to call it.
Also, he kind of changed his face for this. Like he was making a face the entire movie where he like stuck, like he was trying to be extra British.
It was very British.
You know what I mean, though?
Yeah.
So he was born in Wales. But anyways, his performance in this movie, Brick, you're muted or something. His performance in this movie is fucking outstanding. He is such a prick, and he's so unlikable, but you're rooting for him the entire time.
He redeems himself at the end, too. I mean, are you okay? Why aren't you working? Why aren't you talking?
Yeah, whatever he did, he's not there. Wow, look at you and your supercomputer, Brick. All right, you were saying something.
I felt, when you guys were talking about Christian Bale earlier, which was 1 second ago because we cut this, dope. I thought the chemistry between Matt Damon and Christian Bale was part of the movie that made it hit home for me. Them wrestling, their friendship and their dynamic throughout the entire movie was what kind of enthralled me. Look at that one. I like Matt Damon in this movie as well. As much compliments as you were giving Christian Bale, I think Matt Damon gets just as much.
Mark, you were trying to tell me that people weren't liking him as a character?
No, I was looking at some reviews real quick on Instagram, and they're like, you will like this movie if you like, hateable Matt Damon. And then you swipe Christian Bale, and I'm like, hateable Matt Damon.
Matt Damon was awesome in this.
Yeah. I mean, where did that come from?
So likable.
Okay, yeah, the chemistry was great, but there wasn't much. Like, there was those scenes where you're like, oh my God, that was awesome between the two of them. But for the most part, I felt like they were off doing their own things half the time.
Yeah.
Matt Damon was trying to ensure that he was getting the driver he wanted. And Christian Bale I thought his scenes with his wife, Molly, were some of the better scenes where, if we're talking chemistry, like when he's in the car with her and he's getting yelled at by her for lying to her. I thought those scenes...
That was a fun power dynamic that they put themselves in, as in this guy's a driver at heart, driver for life. He's in the passenger seat. She's at the wheel. She's driving like a maniac, but he's used to... That's like going nothing compared to what he's used to, you know? But not having the power of the wheel, and just that power dynamic was good. I do agree that scene was fun to watch.
They did a really good job of not just focusing on cars and racing, because then you lose more than half of your audience. You have to make this a story that you actually care about. They get a little bit into the technical side of things, which I'm sure both of you turned your brains off, when they started talking about having more than 70 RPMs.
70?
Yeah.
7,000, dude. Come on, get it right.
70,000, according to you.
No, 7,000.
Which is about what a jet engine does. But couldn't you even tell me what an RPM is?
Rotations per minute.
Revolutions. But do you know what that means?
It's how many times the tire rotates.
Not even close. Jesus Christ.
What is it?
It's the cylinder track going from top dead center all the way around to top dead center once again.
Okay, so it's not the wheel, it's the cylinder track that's going.
It's the actual engine. It has nothing to do with the wheels.
Okay.
Did you guys care at all about the cars part of this?
Not really. I thought the old Shelbys were kind of cool.
I found the business side of it in terms of like what Ford was doing behind the scenes. My grandpa actually used to work for Ford, and he actually like worked all the way up in the company. I think he was a GM for when the Mustang released.
So he was actually Leo Beatty, the asshole in this movie, played by Josh Lucas.
Yeah, but not the marketing guy. But he was like the production manager behind all the things at Ford for the Mustang. But I thought that was pretty cool to see inside those factories in that era. Kind of, it hit home for me specifically because I was like, oh my God, my Grandpa Don is just like there when he turned it off. And this is what Ford sounds like when we had to shut the building down or whatever the hell Ford was talking about. I just was like, oh, it's weird to be there. Personally, it was pretty cool for me.
They should have just put Christian Bale back in his fat suit from Vice and made him play Henry Ford II.
Dual character.
Yeah, exactly. Ford doesn't come out of this looking very good.
No,
he looks like an idiot too. One of my favorite parts is when they're at the final race and the head Ferrari guy, whatever, is speaking in Italian and saying, "Look at how he leaves," and he leaves in a helicopter when they're at a
he's talking about how he's the CEO of a car company. He's leaving in a helicopter, which is actually a pretty good point. I can't gush about this movie enough. Like I could say I really loved this part and this part. Matt Damon and cars and Christian Bale is just everything that I need in a movie.
I agree. Also, I think the way they shot some of those races made it so much more intense, and it really raised the stakes enough in the movie to like have me on the edge of my seat, knowing what's going to happen, but also just like waiting for it. And then they kind of give those tense moments that I appreciate in the movie. Make you feel something.
It takes a really good director and cinematographer to make a 24-hour long race seem interesting, because I can barely sit through a race that is much, much shorter than that.
Yeah, okay, you get like 4 tight turns, and then you can turn around the haystack.
Even this track, the Le Mans track, is not super interesting, so I don't know. That's an excellent job, and showing Christian Bale talking to the car as if it's a person, and him just being at one. I really loved this movie. This is probably up there with my favorite movies of 2019 so far.
Okay, pardon my ignorance, but you're going to love this because you don't know about cars.
I don't care if you don't know about cars.
Do they still do these races that are 24 hours? No,
they do.
They do?
Yes.
I know they do the Superbike one in France or whatever it is.
They still do Le Mans.
Really? I had no idea. Why is it just not big in the U.S. because we're all NASCAR?
It's really not. I mean, Grand Prix is huge pretty much everywhere outside of the U.S. I don't know the answer to that.
Can you only have 2 drivers, I assume?
I don't know. I don't know the rules. I've never really been into endurance racing like that. They do Baja racing. Like it's either 500 or 1,000 miles. It's Baja 500. It's probably 500 miles, which is insanely long. Those are endurance races. So they still do a lot of that.
Is that a bobsled race?
An endurance bobsled race?
Yeah,
that would be pretty intense.
I love that. A 24-hour bobsled race where you're just like,
Another question I have is, why was the NASCAR race 24 hours? The one
that was not a NASCAR race.
Oh, it wasn't?
It was just a race that was on a NASCAR track in Daytona.
Okay. That's stuff I would not know.
But they were kind of referencing how in NASCAR you have banked turns, like you have them up on an angle, and Le Mans is just a flat track. So you don't have, you have to brake extremely hard. And I thought, personally, as a known car guy, the part where they bring in that they're completely replacing a full brake assembly, and like the fact that they developed it specifically for this race, I thought that was really interesting. The fact that this car was heavier than the Ferraris, and it because it had a bigger, heavier engine with more power, so they were getting to higher top speeds. Matt Damon's speech about how Enzo Ferrari is now shitting his pants because you hit 218 miles per hour
when he's in the executive room.
It's a great monologue.
That was brilliant.
Yes.
And obviously this is just like a dramatic retelling, but picturing Carroll Shelby, who was a real guy and up until a few years ago was still alive, actually, picturing him telling Henry Ford II, like, this is why we're still going to keep fucking doing this.
That is like the corporate dream, to be able to go up to your boss after fucking up and just being able to tell him, like, I honestly didn't fuck up, and here's why.
Gave me goosebumps.
It was captivating, if you could put it in a
captivating.
word.
And Matt Damon was perfect in that role. He developed his southern drawl very well. I'm going to shut up. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep gushing about this. Is there anything else you guys wanted to say about this movie?
Are we going to do spoilers or not?
I don't think that we should, because I don't think that a ton of people will have gone to see this yet.
Okay.
It is based on a true story, so it's not like it's a complete unknown. But yeah, I think that there's some things, some very touching things that happen towards the end of this that will really tug at your heartstrings.
That we won't need to get into. Yeah, that's a good point. But I will bring up the fact that the two scenes that I thought were the best, that weren't giving anything up really, are the actual physical altercations between Matt Damon and Christian Bale. Those were always funny and always entertaining. There was part of realism about the two of their relationship and how they kind of played it out. And I guess the relationships between him, Christian Bale, and his wife, and the relationship between Christian Bale and how the car itself, like how you were saying how he was talking to her and how he knew kind of how the car's running because he built that car. And just the relationships itself were great in the entire movie. Also, the coaching mind tricks at the actual Le Mans by Matt Damon were very entertaining and kind of built character in a very funny way too.
There was, yes, really good levity in this. Like, I expected it to be a more serious movie, but there were jokes and gags in there that were really funny. He steals a couple of stopwatches from Ferrari and he turns to his buddy and he's like, "You want one? They're Italian."
And him just causing a ruckus in like their little pit crew just by doing dumb things, by like just getting into the Italian head, like, "Oh, Massa Mia, what are you doing? What's the matter?" And then them just freaking out, and then them being distracted while they're him just fucking with him was great. It's just, the levity was good. The dress, I thought everyone was dressed pretty slick. The cars do look sexy. They look great. As not a car guy, they were cool. It was cool to see. It was cool to see the ins and outs of the period piece itself. Shout out period pieces. What up, what up?
I think you got to give a little more, you have to give some props to the supporting cast. Catriona Belfi, who played Molly, his wife. I think she did a great job. Like I said, the scene when she's driving in the car with him and he's freaking out because she's going crazy. And also the scene where she's his support system and at the end of it, and her coming by and just after he's down and not being able to race and being there for him, and even letting Ken know, like, don't lie to me because I know this is what you love to do and let's make it happen. When they're trying to figure out the braking system, she played a pivotal role in saying, "Hey, let's make this shit happen right now. Like, get to work." The son, Peter, Noah Jupe, I'm calling it right now. I think that kid, if he doesn't go off the rails and get into drugs and alcohol, I think he might be one of the dude, it's Hollywood, so you never know. I just got to be honest,
So if he doesn't Leonardo DiCaprio from Basketball Diaries, he'll be a good actor.
He's like 7 years old. Assuming he doesn't start doing crack.
Dude, if he's not doing meth by 14 years old, he's going to be a stud in Hollywood. And I think he's going to be pulled into so much shit. He was already in A Quiet Place. He was in Suburbicon. I just remembered that. But he's very talented. You don't get too much of him, but I specifically remember him from like A Quiet Place, and I believe he's in
Honey Boy. He's in
Honey Boy too, and supposedly he's what makes that whole movie, his performance. So keep an eye out for him.
Shia LaBeouf, yeah, dude. I'm pumped. Are we gonna do a bonus episode for that?
I'll watch that movie 100%.
You guys knock yourself out. I'm gonna sit that one out.
Shia, baby.
Was there anything you guys didn't like about this movie?
I was going to ask that.
Because for me, the answer is no.
Oh,
when I saw the runtime for it, I was like, fuck, this is going to be really long. Did not feel that way.
Same.
Hateable guy that works for Ford.
Leo Beebe.
His right-hand man.
Played by Josh Lucas brilliantly, by the way. You can make an audience hate you that much.
Yeah.
You did a great job.
So
and I
slimy.
fucking hated that guy.
If you're asking me what I disliked, it was his character. But you need people like that in movies.
Yeah, I was wondering who the antagonist was going to be in this, or whether it was just going to be Enzo Ferrari and his team, but that wasn't really the case. They don't even really have interactions between the drivers. You got to find that scapegoat, and they did a great job of doing it.
So one thing that I thought they did that was fine. But it was fine by me. I didn't like it by any means, but I didn't like hate it by any means. But when they raised the stakes for the night and just to have it like raining, just made it hard to see. And I just didn't think that they needed to have it be raining to raise the stakes.
I disagree.
I guess I don't really know. Maybe it actually did rain that night.
They specifically mentioned how it always rained there. So
if it did, it's fine, I guess.
Yeah, the track's going to be more slippery, but isn't that actually, it's pretty good for like the tires? No, because it doesn't cool down the tires?
No. You want your tires to be warm.
Okay.
So
you get
like,
traction? If
you guys are ever watching a race and they're warming up and they're swerving back and forth, they're doing that to heat their tires up.
Okay.
And, crazy. That's a good little piece of knowledge there. Have you ever gone to one of these races? I know you're a big NASCAR guy, Smithers.
No, I've never been to a race like this. I would love to go to like a Grand Prix or something like that. This is obviously in France, so no, never been to that. Yeah,
I've been to a Grand Prix, actually. They had one in Elkhart Lake, and I was visiting with McCourt and the Baccoons. Shout out. McCourt's got a place up there, and there just was a Grand Prix that weekend. So we went and roughed it out. But once it started raining, it was like a light drizzle. They just like called it off.
That's because you're going 300 miles per hour.
Exactly.
And they don't want you to die.
Which was fair. But at the same time, I was just obliterated at a NASCAR event for the first time, being like, come on, burn them on, big bear.
It's fun, man. I don't watch them on TV, but if I have the opportunity to go in person, I think they're fun.
Would you be like one of those village people that watches from the side of the road?
No.
Those people are insane.
Absolutely not.
Insane. I'm like, get off the side of the road. You're going to die.
Oh, it's great. It's great.
Okay. That wraps up our review. I just want to reiterate, this is one of my favorite movies of the year so far. So If you haven't seen this, go see it.
What does this get nominated for? If you think it's the best movie of the year, what do you think it gets the nod?
If anything, I think it would probably be Bale as best supporting actor. Is he the lead, or is it Matt Damon? This is kind of like a Once Upon a Time in Hollywood thing, where I don't know who the lead of that movie actually is.
I thought the lead was Leo in that one, for clarification. But is it Bale? It's Bale because
I think it's probably Matt Damon.
I'm saying Bale because of the relationships that he's had. He has a relationship with Damon, the wife, the kid, the actual car itself. Matt Damon was just like kind of the guy who greased the wheels with, the businessmen.
I guess it's open to interpretation, but that would be, I think if it gets nominated for anything, it'll be that. It's probably not a best picture contender. Movies like this generally aren't, but that's fine too.
Cinematography, score, nothing like that. Screenwriter?
Definitely not the score. The score was just there. But let's wrap this up with our recommendations because I've been sitting here for too long. I'm going to recommend a show on Netflix called Daybreak. I'm going to recommend this fully, saying that if there was an option to speed this up, I would take it because I believe there are 10 episodes and they're an hour long each. So it is kind of long, but the idea takes place in Glendale, California. A nuke goes off. It's kind of a post-apocalyptic setting, if you will.
I will.
It's based on these high school kids, and anybody under a certain age doesn't turn into a zombie, but everybody that's older does. So it kind of follows this. It's really lighthearted, but also it's aimed at an older audience. It's very gory and, I don't know, kind of over the top.
So it's Lord of the Flies crosses over with Zombieland?
That's actually not stupid. Good job.
Dope. But I also have to agree with you. I will take away the point that I had previously, but this is a movie I would watch 2.5 because I watched the first 2 episodes and I was like, okay. And then I guess I could have kept watching.
If you decide to continue watching it, it will start to pull you in more because they start to get a little deeper into the relationships and whatnot.
Kid actors are always tough to find.
But yeah, I would say you could watch this on Netflix. Mark, what do you recommend?
I'm going to go with Undiscovered Country. It's a comic book that just came out, I believe, 2 weeks ago now. Written by Ryan Brown and Scott Snyder. And if you read comic books, you know that is a awesome duo.
Ryan Brown was the guy that did the art on the Wizard book.
I am wrong. It's Charles Soule.
Okay.
I was thinking of the writer.
Charles Soule is the guy who wrote that Wizard book.
You were thinking of curse words.
Yes. Sorry. Go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to.
No, you're right. So it's Charles Soule and Scott Snyder. I mixed that up. But anyways, the story is basically real quick. America closes their borders, but not what you think is like what's going on right now with the wall. They actually banish everyone because there is, I'll just call it a plague going on, and nobody even knows what's been going on in the US for the last 30 years because nobody can get in, and they've kind of siloed themselves. So the whole thing is, in this first issue, there's a team of, I'll just call them like doctors and experts that are trying to figure out how to stop this epidemic and this plague that's spreading. So the US reaches out to them and says, hey, we can help you. Please come here. And this is the first time they're going into the US after 30 years. And they get there and realize it's not what they thought it would be. So I'll leave it there.
Very interesting.
It's a nice first issue. And I think issue 2 is coming out this week. So if you're into comics, pick that one on.
That's an Image book?
Yep. Undiscovered Country.
Well, this would have been the part where I asked Brick what his recommendation was, but he left. I guess we'll move on.
Yeah. I was going to have you do the outro too, but too late.
The fuck is he doing?
I don't know.
Hey, Dingus, do your recommendation.
My recommendation is, I got 2 recommendations actually. First one is Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. Talked about this earlier. It's very cinematic, and it's just in the Star Wars universe. That is, honestly, go get EA Access or EA Origins. And I think EA Origins, if you have a PC, you pay $15 a month, and then you can get all the games. So pay that $15, beat the game, unsubscribe, whatever, do whatever you want. The other one is Seth Meyers' stand-up on Netflix is actually hilarious. He is surprisingly only 10% political. Everything else is just kind of stories from his life and his relationship with his wife and his kind of newborn. And I have none of that. And I found it funny. So I think if you have any of the above, I think you'll find a lot of it very entertaining. It's great. He does a great job. It's directed by Neil Brennan, actually. So that kind of also hooked me in immediately. You guys would love it. Both of you guys would love it.
That's interesting, because I always thought Seth Meyers was kind of a boner, but...
Oh, he's great in the stand-up. You guys would actually, both of you guys would really appreciate it, because he comes from like a newly married to kind of, he has like a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old, and he just kind of, he's got great stories. Great stories.
Doesn't go, he's 10% political. Is that?
It's literally like 90% of it is just like stories. And then there's one little 10% of the show that he kind of goes political. He lets you know. It's funny. It's good. It was entertaining throughout the whole thing. It was 1 hour long. Honestly, put it on, watch it with the actual wife, and you guys would love it.
Yeah, I don't necessarily have problems with his political stances, but when I watch comedy, I just like to hear dumbass stories. Like, that's why I love Bill Burr, because he just has the funniest fucking stories of all time. And
he turns regular stories into just over-the-top ridiculousness. I can't wait till he shows up in The Mandalorian.
Yeah.
He better make some jokes.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
Fuck yeah, he's in The Mandalorian. Amazing. Bill Burr. But yeah, this Seth Meyers stand-up is a lot of stories, and I think some of the joke construction is very unique and interesting, and it kind of, the punchlines hit at different points, which is just, it's a new interesting way to do, not an interesting way to do stand-up, but he makes it unique to his own, which is good.
He's a hell of a writer, so all right, I'll check that out.
Nice. Let me do a quick plug. So again, I think I thanked our Patreons last week, but thank you guys again for helping us be able to put out more content and increase the quality of our show production. But just wanted to mention, we're going to be gradually, hopefully, rolling out more and more content on Patreon exclusively for our Patreon members. We just are starting to release a newsletter, which is getting sent out a day and a half before we actually record the podcast, so you guys can get up to date on the topics we're talking about, as well as the trailers we're going to be discussing as well. So it's a good way to just know what's going on in the nerd community, in pop culture news in general, and then also prepare and get that leg up before the show drops. So check out Patreon if you're interested in the newsletter.
And we do not let Brick write it.
Correct.
Good point. Also, I don't edit the pictures either, and they're not even.
And I can guarantee you all the bullets are perfectly aligned and centered.
I appreciate that.
I'm going to start fucking it up intentionally.
I was going to ask you to start doing it, but I'm like, nah, he's going to fuck something up.
It's a good thing that I write it, though. Otherwise, it would all be misspelled, and we'd have words like stample in it.
He can't even just reset his computer. So I don't trust you.
Oh my God. I can't wait till you have something that breaks and you need me, and I just say no.
Wait, also, we're going to be switching streaming services. That was super loud, by the way. But we're going to be switching to Twitch now.
Yeah, we'll hammer that out this week.
I don't know what we're going to do. I kind of want to switch to YouTube, even though we don't really have a following there, but
Twitch.
This has been episode 169.
Nice.
Thank you both for not making jokes about it. We were going there for a while. But
what, dude?
you can find us on all social media platforms at the Chumpcast. You can also call or text us at 847-920-6107.
Mark, do me a favor. Give Smithers a llama bite.
Oh, in the movie?
Yeah, give him a llama bite.
No spoiler.
It's a titty twister. Spoiler.
Go see Ford vs. Ferrari. All right, Chumps out, motherfuckers. Beep.